For today's cup of coffee, we have an encounter by one of our newer members, a Greenjay. And Greenjay writes, it was about August or September of 1994, and I just started working at a residential home for autistic adults. Two other staff members and myself had taken two of the residents for a day out walking in the Peak District, not a long drive from where we were based in Rotherham. We'd parked at a popular spot called Surprise View Car Park on the A1867 between Hathersage and Fox House on the outskirts of Sheffield. We were walking along a path on a hillside when to my left, at about eye level, I saw and pointed out what appeared to be a vintage bomber-type plane flying just above the treetops. It went from our right to the left, then out of sight behind the trees. It was visible to us for maybe 10 seconds or so, but during that time there were a couple of things I observed. The plane was only a few hundred yards away, yet it made no sound, and also appeared to be traveling in almost slow motion, which made me assume it was gliding. But I did note that the propellers were also rotating, so I thought it must be the motion of the plane making them turn like a windmill, rather than an engine, because of this silence. I also remember seeing the fresh-looking white-painted letters and numbers on the side. We had very clear view, and stood in awe as we watched it. Another strange thing was, though it is quite common for autistic people to have sensitive hearing and put their fingers in their ears when they hear loud noises, one of the guys with us, called Nigel, put his fingers in his ears and looked distressed as the silent plane went by. I worked with Nigel for several years after this event, and this was the only time I saw him put his fingers in his ears to block out a sound. Soon after we saw the silent plane, a military jet came directly overhead flying low and made a horrendous noise, but Nigel didn't react at all to the jet, which was more typical of how he would respond. There is a famous case I know of where a man with a dog had a sighting of the silent plane. The dog appeared petrified and wouldn't go near the spot of the sighting afterwards. It could be that a high-frequency noise that most can't hear accompanies these sightings. At the time of the sighting, despite all the oddities, what we had witnessed didn't really occur to us. Years later, a group at work, including one other person that was with us at the time of the event, was talking about some of the reported ghost plane sightings, and then it kind of dawned on me that we had seen it for ourselves. Greenjay, thank you so very much. I appreciate your contribution. And this apparently was a very common event over in England. And so I still think that it's some kind of a projection project that more than likely some kind of military or something like that is trying to do. And if you have other sightings, I know that you sent me a couple of other events. Those will be featured in future cups of coffee. I really appreciate that. It's interesting that you and Yates were witness to whatever this similar event was. So apparently there's more than one place that this is being projected from, is what it would appear. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, they try and yell out first. They're going to leave those of us here. We couldn't see anything for the mountains anyhow. That's what I've often wondered about the chemtrails. And I know that people are like, oh, they're contrails. No, they're not. Contrails evaporate. Whatever these chemtrails are, they leave this mess that will totally occlude the sky. And so I wonder what it is that they're trying to prevent us from seeing. So yeah, but Greenjay, thank you so much. Anyone else with UFO encounters, alien encounters, supernatural, paranormal, Bigfoot, skinwalkers? Kid talks about this thing called the rake. I don't even want to think about that. Any kind of oddity. And if you just want someone to listen to you, send me an email at cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. You don't have to worry about being made fun of or something like that. We want everybody to understand that when you have a supernatural event, it's very common to for other people not to believe you. It's very common for you to doubt yourself and your own faculties and what you witnessed and saw. So when we share these things, that helps solidify, yeah, this really did happen. So we're going to take the stigma out of this. You all have a beautiful, blessed day.